Hi, good afternoon. Today we are having an interview with Kroll Ontrack. Here we have with me is CK. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm CK.
Yeah.
I'm the country manager for Kroll Ontrack Singapore, and the Kroll Ontrack Singapore office actually manages out the Singapore plus the South Asia region, right? So a little bit on Kroll Ontrack itself. So Kroll Ontrack, we are a US company based out of Minnesota, right? We have 23 offices worldwide. In APAC itself, we have 4 offices, right? It being Japan, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Australia, right? So out of these 23 offices, 18 of them have actually clean facility labs itself, right?
I think it was released end of last year and this year as well. Gartner and Cisco predicts data to grow about more than 1.6 zettabytes from 2012 onwards. What is your take on this?
I mean, looking at it, for the last 25 years, we just did a statistics itself. Kroll Ontrack recovered about 103 petabytes of data, right? In last year alone, 2011, we recovered 35 petabytes. That's kind of data explosion growth we are looking at. So in 1 year, we're recovering almost 30% of what we did in 25 years. So the kind of data explosion growth is going to grow tremendously in the next few years for sure. Yeah.
What are the common causes of failures?
Most of it, sure. Hardware failures still form a big chunk of it. It's still going to be about, say, 40% of it. But you'll be surprised, actually about 30% is actually human error, right? It could be caused by the accidentally pull out drives during your RAID setup, or accidentally deleted data, which is pretty common, even up to a virtual environment, where people accidentally deleted snapshots. Because sometimes they're new to the technology. This thing happens really often though, yeah. And the rest could be software corruptions and stuff, yeah.
Okay, can I check with you a little bit on what's the worst case scenario ever recovered for data recovery?
Frankly, every case come to us is worst case though. There's never a good case. Every case is bad. Because every case that goes to the company, be it a small, can be SME, down to a corporate, down to a banking, every case to them is bad. So to a customer, it's always the worst case. But of course, the most recent case we have did one out in close in Korea. When the customer lost in the virtual environment 35 drives, almost about 10 VMDKs. We recovered 1 million files on them. But it took us about a week because of the sheer size of the volume. But if that thing don't get recovered, actually the company will go out of business. Though. That's how bad it is, right? Yeah.
For some of the readers who may not understand the terms, can you clarify what is VMDK?
Okay, no, that is up to the virtual disk level, right? So in your environment right now, virtualization and cloud is the thing for the next 3 to 5 years. That's the whole buzzword, the whole market is moving towards that. So right now for VMDK, of course, it's very specific to VMware itself. It's up to this level where data is saved up to the virtual disk. And once you lose data, all this data is actually scattered into multiple areas. And Kroll Ontrack is the only company that has the kind of capability to recover data from your logical unit level, top level, all the way down to your last level, your VMDK level itself, right? We've been working with VMware since 4 years ago. That's why we have a very good working relationship with VMware. And that's why we have the kind of tools that's available for VMware data recovery. Yeah, and VM owns pretty much about 85% of the market though. Yeah.
Okay. So since we are on that close topic about virtual machine, I think early this year, Kroll released some highlights that they wanted to let everyone know. Basically, it's about virtualization, cloud computing, social networking, and bring your own devices, right? Can you explain one by one, starting from virtualization? What are your thoughts? What is Kroll Ontrack's role in virtualization?
Right. So I say virtualization really kicks off about, I say pretty much in the US side, I think it kicks off about 07, 08, and slowly it drifted up to the APAC region. Pretty much I think the last 1-2 years we see a lot more cases. Right. So that's why Kroll Ontrack is a very forward-looking company in terms of data recovery. We have a focused team of R&D engineers. We also develop tools that's ahead of the market, right? So we see virtualization is the way to go. That's why we work back with the big vendor players and we develop tools in there. So virtualization is not going to go away for sure. It's going to be the future of the whole market for IT, right? So that's why Kroll Ontrack, we develop tools available. So in the environment, as long as VMware, they're not keen to go that in-depth into data recovery. They do have basic recovery tools. But they can't do it, they still need a professional like us to come and help them do that kind of work. Right? So, but in this region, let's say closer to us in APAC, we've been seeing a lot of people jumping onto that wagon of virtualization. But because it's new, we do see a lot of people having a lot of human error. Let's say they may not understand as a full what a snapshot really means versus a backup technology snapshot, you know. So in that case, they thought, oh, snapshot actually capture the last bit of everything. But in virtualization, it's not. They only capture your latest changes, your delta changes. So they may delete it accidentally. When that happens, frankly, even up to VM support and stuff, they may not be able to recover that. And we do see a lot of signals in that cases right now. So right now, we're going out to educate people in that area. Frankly, I talked to a lot of people. People thought, in virtual environment, how can you even recover data? It's impossible. But there's a lot of lack of knowledge. Right now, so we're participating a lot in roadshows. We do seminars educating people that all this can be done. So in the event something happens, we'll be there to help them, right? So for cloud computing, I think Gartner or IDC just did the latest survey. 35% of the current budget are all spent on cloud computing right now, right? So for cloud computing itself, you talk about even, let's say we jump a little bit on social networking. Social networking is still just an offset of cloud computing. It's just services, right? But whatever data that's stored is still in your cloud computing, right? So we work with all the providers for cloud computing. Just in the event things happen, we'll be able to help them restore any data. It can be running on different brands of storage boxes and different solutions, but Kroll Ontrack has the capability to recover everything that's available out there because we are always at forefront. But sure, we do see scenarios we have not seen before, right? So we have a just-in-time team that will develop on-spot solutions, tweak solutions that are able to do the recovery on the spot as well. That's how nimble we are, right?
Sure. Okay, so the final highlight that you mentioned in your release is the bring your own devices.
Right.
I believe some of these devices, they are mostly flash-based.
Mm-hmm.
So other than that, you also mentioned about secure remote. So can you clarify more on the recovery portion for the BYOD devices, the secure deletion of BYOD devices, and if there is any what's called management for BYOD devices?
Right. BYOD right now is definitely an ongoing trend.
Yeah.
Again, Asia side is a bit slower, but it's adopting, right? So a lot of vendors are coming out with a lot of security tools to make sure that how to differentiate whether what is your own and what's company's information, right? So in that aspect, it's really up to the company to control the security features they need to have. But once, let's say, the employee leaves the company or whichever thing happens, they must ensure that the data is securely wiped from the drive, right? So it all depends on what our policies as a company have. So Kroll Ontrack, we do have our own data erasing software to wipe out the data so that this can be reused, not a big issue. So it's all up to, again, education of the market itself, right? So in terms of flash technology recovery, no problem. The latest right now is, of course, on solid state drives. So solid state drive is good to use. Failure rate technically is lower, not moving parts, right?
Okay.
But of course, because it's still new, they don't have a conform unified standard yet, so everybody is still keeping their own technology in the back because it's still not popularly used yet.
So I suppose there's SSD, there's hybrid SSD, HDD.
Right.
It's too many, yeah.
Right. So in that sense, the failure rate is lower, but it fails, it's more challenging to recover the data, right? But same thing, Kroll Ontrack being a forefront technology, we develop tools to recover SSD drives. But of course, we do bump into certain problems at times. That's the truth of it. It's still in development, but we are working with all the major vendors right now to get the tools and we've been seeing a lot, frankly, lately we've been seeing more SSD drives coming in as well. Yep.
So between SSD and the normal spindle hard disk drive, where Kroll Ontrack is concerned, it's equal level. You have the technologies to recover.
We have the technology to recover both, right? It's no difference in that. But of course, the tools for solid state drive has to be developed further because it's still relatively new. But let's say for the rest of the drive, sure, our technology is already there for the longest time and it's been improving. Yeah.
Okay, when it comes to recovery services and recovery scenario, are you limited to only your labs, or do you have any other services?
No, I mean there's 3 ways to recover data. It can be in-lab. In-lab is where drives have to really bring up to our office to be done. Typically that will happen if, let's say, you have a mechanical failure where the drives have to be opened up in a clean room facility, right? Those cases definitely we only can do it in-lab. If not, let's say for enterprise cases, most of the time we've seen is that it's not really a hardware failure. I say it could be corruption or it could be overwritten data. So all those can be done by remote data recovery. So Kroll Ontrack, we do develop our own proprietary remote access, and this is even approved by the US military, right? They think it's secure enough, not an issue. So from here, you can log into any country, anywhere to do data recovery, not an issue. They just need to install, hook up a Windows client to the server environment, and we log through that client machine to go in. And of course, I say all this is high security place, and they say no, I only can do on site. We do have the kind of option to do on-site recovery as well, right? Not an issue. So there are 3 options.
Okay. With all this, I think some of the questions that people will eventually ask is how much will it cost me to recover data, and if there are any priority levels that is available to me as a end user or consumer or enterprise.
Sure. Why not? I break it up into 2 portions. Sure. We talk about single drive recovery. Okay. So those will be based on your laptop, desktop, and external hard drives, your flash drives, all just single stuff. So let's say for your single drive recovery, there'll be $100 evaluation fees they need to pay. And once they do that, we'll go through the full recovery process. And once that's done, we'll give a customer a detailed report. We call it Verifile. It's a portal tool. So they go in, it works like a window explorer. You can drill in, look at whole file tree structure, drill in and see up to your file level. We give you color code and tell you what's green is good, red means it's partial, and those stuff. So customer can make an informed decision whether they want to proceed to the final stage of recovery. So recovery cost range from about 800 to 2,000. That's for standard service. So the turn times are pretty much about 5 days. So next thing I say, oh, I come with for 5 days. Then of course that is priority service. Then the eval fees are 200. Recovery fees range from 1,200 to 3,500 same. So that one turn time is 3 days. Then of course that is emergency level. And then we work round the clock until the data is recovered. So depending on how urgent the customer needs data back. So the different levels provided. But for the enterprise side, there's only 2 levels. There's always just priority or emergency. So enterprise, nobody can wait that long for sure. And for enterprise recovery, it all depends on the scenarios that they have. When the thing happens itself, our technical consultant will sit in with the customers. We will go through exactly what's the scenario. Then from there, we scope out the work required. Then the recovery cost can range from, frankly, can be from $5,000 all the way up to $100,000, $200,000, depending on what is affected and what kind of data they want it back.
Okay. Yeah. I believe through our initial briefing later that you mentioned that there will be a new announcement of services from Kroll Ontrack from this year. Can you tell us more about that?
Right. So after going through the market itself, we realized there's a gap in the market in terms of disaster recovery planning, right? So in terms of right now, most of the companies, vendors, or even system integrators, what they offer a client in the planning solution could be your maintenance for your hardware, disaster recovery planning. But there's always a gap last piece, which is the data recovery planning itself, right? So far, no one can offer that kind of planning tool because no company in the world right now can give you a comprehensive recovery solutions. Only Kroll itself can do from your basic single drive all the way up to enterprise, virtualization, database, tapes, any operating system can be your Linux, any flavor, we can do that. So we felt there's a gap in that planning itself, and coming early May, we're going to launch something called a business continuity standby program. That's more like a maintenance program where they can bundle in with the disaster recovery planning tool schedule. And then if they subscribe to this, it's a subscription program though. Once you subscribe to that, we will not charge them any evaluation fees. Anything happens, there'll be a 24/7/2. So response time will be within 2 hours.
Wow.
We go in the environment, we check it for them, we do the initial access. After that, we give them the full report to tell them what can be recovered, what cannot be recovered. Sure, they still need to pay a recovery fees, but there'll be also a discount rate to that. Then it's up to the customer to decide whether, sure, with this cost, this thing, what do I want? If we don't proceed, sure, then we recover the data. If they don't want, then they can go through that normal process of data restoration or what they really need from there.
I believe some of the new business startups, for instance, may want to utilize some of your services. So, I mean, I suppose this would be on case-by-case basis. Would you? Is this service open only to the enterprise, or?
Actually, it's open to all. It can be from a small setup all the way to the large enterprise, or not to the banks. All depends on whether in their business model, what do they need. So Kroll itself, we cater for the whole market spectrum. Can be from consumer all the way up to the enterprise, not the consumer. Yeah. So it's all really depend on the need. What do they want? Yeah.
Okay. I see on your Sandy here, you have data recovery for cloud for all the SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS.
Right.
Can you clarify a bit more on that services?
Sure. Same thing. All this is what they have been providing as a service itself, right? Same thing. This will be hosted by the provider, and for us, we do have all the tools available. Same thing. When you provide this as a platform to, let's say, it's software as a service, they run it on the storage itself. Then they may run it on virtualization so that they can mass out to have multiple users. So all these compressors are all the technologies that we have to offer to a cloud solution recovery itself. So it could be on EMC box running on virtualization EMC, or it can be running on VMware, or it can be on Hyper-V, or even Strix, right? So we do have all the tools able to recover for the provider that offer all these solutions itself. Yep.
Do you have anything else to add on for about Kroll Ontrack for 2012? If there are any other information that you would like to share with us?
I mean, looking forward again, I say 2012 or 2013, the data growth explosion is going to be there. That's why we felt that in terms of in the enterprise or even in any business planning, that's why besides disaster recovery, they should really look into the data recovery planning as well. So in case anything happens, they should have someone to call. And that's why we're launching this program in the mid of this year, and in May itself, to educate the market that these services are available. Frankly, I say in terms of data recovery, a lot of people is sometimes, they say, well, I already spent that kind of money in my infrastructure, nothing should fail. I don't want to talk about even something failing, but the kind of concept mindset should change a little bit, frankly. They should always look at worst case scenario. So looking forward, all this planning should be there for even small to large businesses.
I suppose in every company, BCP, business continuity plan, is already in place. It's a matter of, I think, convincing themselves if they should take up the Kroll solution.
Right. Yeah. And of course, the next aspect is also on data destruction. From onset of last year, we can see there's a lot of requirements coming to us as well on data destruction. There's a compliance going on right now that every data should be disposed properly. Because earlier part of the year when we did some trial, we realized we buy things off the auction site, or the auction sites. All the data claimed it white actually still have data on it. So that is no good though. Right.
I think a large portion of the companies worldwide still have Windows XP boxes. And with the upcoming Windows 8, then the Windows 7 boxes will probably need to be disposed. Those are the likely candidates for data destruction.
It can be from any OS they're running. But I said, so long when they want to say, a company want to relocate their equipment to another office, they should actually wipe the drive first before they relocate, or reuse, or even inter-department. Technically, they should wipe it clean before they use. If not, you have X data residing on it. That's not the way to go. Or let's say they want to retire the equipment, they should actually properly degaus and recycle it. So what Kroll Ontrack does, we offer this kind of services. And also, after we've done all this, we do issue a certificate itself. So that will also meet your compliance at the same time. So we see there's a need in this area. And we also felt a lot of SME do not dispose the drive properly though. Yeah. So that part again is a lot of education in the market in that aspect. But for banks, large enterprise, they do have proper procedures, right? But not really much for SME. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you. Thanks for your time.